Professional property managers have vendors all set up for maintenance issues. Plumbers, roofers, handymen, electricians, landscapers, carpet installers, carpet cleaners, painters, HVAC people, and the like. And property managers often will have multiple ones for each task so they can get repairs done promptly if a vendor is backed up or unavailable for some reason. My name is Harry Heist. I'm the founding partner of Heist, Weiss & Wolk, the property manager's partner. Since 1989, we have done nothing but work for investors, landlords, property managers, and apartment managers. Not only am I an attorney, but I'm also an investor like you, a landlord, and have 4 different property management companies handling my rentals, which are scattered about Florida. You have made a wise choice, a wise decision in having a professional property manager handle your rental, and this informative video is for you. Some of the larger property management companies have in-house maintenance, and almost all of them have a handyman or two available for those small items that don't require licensure. Sometimes you, though, as the property owner, know people in the area where the property is located, and you ask the property manager to use that person or the friend rather than the vendor that the property manager uses. Most often, your property manager may not allow this, and there are very important reasons why this is the case. This video will help you understand why the property manager usually will insist on using their vendors. First of all, licensure. In most areas, certain tasks must be completed by someone who is licensed by the state or the municipality, or the person hiring them, your property manager, you, or the person performing the task could get in serious civil and criminal trouble. Your property manager will insist on confirming this licensure prior to hiring them for the job, and will also check to see if the license is current and active. And we all know that many people out there are not licensed, and this could cause serious liability. Now, let's look at some of that liability. Your property manager will confirm that the vendor has the proper insurance for the job that they're going to do. This has been done ahead of time. I can't stress the importance of this, and I will admit to you something that I did a number of years ago. I knew of 2 guys who trimmed trees. I knew they had no license, but I hired them for one of my local rental houses, basically to save money. They did the job, it was done cheap, and it was done right. 2 weeks after I used them, one of them was electrocuted and died while trimming trees on someone else's property. That property owner was sued, and they were sued bad. I can give you other examples, but you probably do get the idea. If an unlicensed and uninsured person were to perform a job and your tenant were to get hurt later, for instance, you used an unlicensed electrician and the place burns down, you would be in a bad position. Your homeowner's insurance would deny this in a second. If an unlicensed or uninsured person were to get hurt on the property, they may sue, and they do. Your homeowner's insurance will not, and I stress, will not cover this. You would be on the hook as well as the property manager who hired them. We see this happen, and it's bad. Fair housing training is important. Your property manager's vendor is told to have little or no discussion with the tenant, so an accidental, innocent-sounding comment could not be cause or construed for a fair housing complaint. A vendor's experience in dealing with tenant-occupied units is key. Your property manager's vendor is told to have little to no discussion about the problem or the fix. You might not want to replace that 10-year-old AC unit at this time, but rather see if you can keep it going for a little while longer. But an untrained vendor might blurt out something like this to the tenant. "I'm doing the best I can, ma'am, but this unit really needs to be replaced." Well, that statement will be thrown right back into your face. Recourse for jobs done improperly is another reason to use your property manager's licensed and insured vendor. If a vendor is not licensed or insured properly and does a poor job or takes a deposit and runs off with the money, you will basically have no recourse. An unlicensed vendor has no concern about losing their license because they don't have one. Sure, if an unlicensed person would run off with your money, you could sue them, but you probably won't collect a dime. And you would also have to admit you illegally used an unlicensed person. As a landlord myself, I like to save money. I've used unlicensed and uninsured friends and people I know to get work done, but no more. I've simply seen too much. Getting things done promptly is another reason. Landlord-tenant laws require things to be done fast. The property manager's vendor wants the business, and they get a lot of it from the property manager. The property manager's vendor will be far more responsive than someone else, or the property manager's going to find someone else. The vendor knows this. A vendor working for a property manager understands that price and speed are big factors when dealing with rental properties. They usually will actually show up and do so promptly. A landlord does not want to overpay for repairs. You are in this business of owning rental property to try to make money, or at least hopefully break even. The property manager wants vendors that will work at a fair price, not someone who will rip you off, because if they rip you off, that property manager will not use that vendor, and you might not want to use that property manager. Vendors who work with property managers have a better understanding of the business of landlording, and if they make a mistake, will try to make good on it. Many tradespeople know what they're dealing with here, and some will try to take advantage of an absentee owner. Your property manager helps prevent this from happening. A good property manager has a good relationship with the vendors as they send them business. This is a history. There's a history involved here, not some unknown vendor off the street. This often results in quicker repairs, a steady stream of business for the vendor, and a better price than you can get on your own. That midnight emergency repair has a higher chance of getting done by the property manager's vendor, and the property manager makes this part of the deal they cut with their approved vendors. They have their vendors on speed dial and have an established relationship. The property manager's vendor is often the eyes or ears for the property manager as well, and will alert the property manager to something that they see going on in that rental unit. In the event of a dispute over whose responsibility a repair may be, that vendor will show up in court and testify if necessary. It's all part of the deal. Sometimes problems are caused by tenant neglect or abuse, and we need to prove this in court. You need to trust your property manager. They are entrusted with managing your asset. They do not want to get in trouble. They do not want you to get in trouble either. Sometimes it may in fact cost a bit more to do it right and legally. More often though, it is less expensive in the long run. So the next time you want a friend or a neighbor that you know that lives near your rental property to handle a job for you, and the property management company refuses or gives you pushback, try to understand that the professional property manager is working with your best interests in mind. You hired them to manage and care for your asset. Let them do their job.